Hello, y'all. I'm back with another video. I hope everybody is doing well. Everybody is blessed. And it's a pleasure to be here doing this video for you. This is a touchy video. I did a video in the past about this. And this is a video about siblings that have had parents. I'm one. That have had parents that have been in some type of addiction. And your parents have been in some type of addiction where you've had to be raised either by other family members, or maybe you might have been in the system, which, I'm very apologetic that if there's anybody watching me that has been through that, my heart goes out to you. Because I feel you. It hits home because, I'm the oldest of five. The first two, me and my brother that's under me, were raised by my mom, my grandmother, my mother's mother. In no way, this video, I love my mother dearly. So this is nothing to bash my mom or, say anything, never that. I love her. But I wanted to say this. I noticed that out of the bunch, it's going to be maybe one or two siblings that's going to feel some type of way toward that parent or parents that were in either, drugs or alcohol addiction. Listen, I know 9 times out of 10, they done took you through a lot of changes. I know firsthand. That's why I'm making this video. I can't tell you how to feel, how not to feel, but it's going to be one or two siblings that, if not all, that feel some type of negative vibes, because of what they had to go through being raised by other people. Sometimes it's not always easy being raised by other people, because whether they family to you or not, you didn't come from them. So it's kind of like you a charity case. They taking you in because, they don't want to see you go nowhere else. Now, my grandmother had a lot of love for me and my brother. So it was a pleasure for her, knock on wood, to take us in. It was a pleasure. And she did an incredible job raising me and my brother. She did the best that she could. She's resting in glory now. And I have a lot of gratitude that she took me and my brother and she raised us. She had me since I was 2 years old. And I think my brother, straight out the hospital, she had my brother since he was newborn. But holding on to baggage where you feel, animosity toward that parent that didn't raise you, or you feel like the siblings that you have, you may not want to be associated with certain siblings because, maybe the person that raised you may have taught you different, or you may feel that, which of course, if you raised by somebody else, their children and whoever else is around, of course, you're going to lean more toward them because that's where you were reared. That's where you were raised. That's a given. But keep in mind that all of you as siblings have all been through the same pain. Might not be the same identical way, but to feel abandoned or feel like, and that's going to be my next video. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to touch on that too. But let me finish this right here. Listen, you can't go back and change the hands of time. If your parents then brought you here in this world, you made it to this world. So you can't do too much about it when you're a child being raised, because you're at the mercy of others because you're a child. But if your parents have brought you here, I've said it in the other video, if you can't honor nothing else about them, honor the fact that they brought you here. You're here. It could have been where you wouldn't have made it to this world. Then you wouldn't have had no opinion about how you feel about your siblings, or how you feel about your mother, your father that did they didn't do this, they didn't do that. You here. After a certain age, there's no more excuses. For a long time, I had some bitterness where I was angry for years. I mean, I had the most nastiest position because I felt so, I felt that I couldn't talk to my mother about certain things. I didn't understand certain things. And instead of just sitting down and talking about it, I hadn't already made up. Sometimes we make up in our own mind what we perceive things to be, and that's really not the case. I made a decision to meet my mother, go back to when she was 19 years old and she had me. Correction, 18, because she had me a couple of months before her birthday. I went back to that version of her to try to get a better understanding. What happened? What caused the addiction? What, you understand, when you have a mindset to want to understand as opposed to just wanting to be the victim or blame this person and cut them down, you don't know what life has taken them through. And a lot of times people can't give you, your parents may not been, whatever they gave you is the best of their ability. What you looking for them to give, they may not have had it to give to themselves, yet alone to give to you. So when you go back and some people really don't even care to go back and try to understand. You just want to be mad and stay stuck. I got tired of being angry. When I became a mother myself, I gave the best to my children. Whatever I didn't get, I gave to mine. I made that vow before I had any children. If I ever had any kids, I was going to be the best mother to my ability. I remind my kids every day how much I love them, how proud I am of them. Anything I could do to enhance their lives, I do my best. If it's something that they need or they need to, better in schooling, which they are graduates. They have been to college. They went for a little while. They're getting ready to go back. If I got to work an extra job to help them to get there, I'm going to do just that to get there, to help my kids get where they need to get. I'm not stuck where I'm going to stay the rest of my life bitter about what my mom or my daddy didn't give me when they gave me life. I could take it from there. I stopped looking at my mother, how I wanted her to be, what I thought she could be, and learned to accept her for who she was. Everybody loves differently. Some people may not have received love, may have had a lot of trauma coming up. You don't know what that trauma is. Sometimes some of us are born with trauma. And from some of the stuff that my mother told me, I think by the time she got ready to have me, I came to this world with some trauma that came from my mother. Because when you carrying a baby, everything you feel, everything you going through, that baby go through that too. So sometimes parents pass things on to their kids, and you don't realize you passing that whatever issue you dealing with to your children. But I had to say that to come back to the sibling part. If you got siblings and you know that's your siblings, cut the crap. Life is short. Holding on to stuff, or you isolating yourself. You got some that you want to be bothered with, some you don't want to you want to be bothered with. Me, I'm open-minded. I have a good relationship with all of them. But when some don't get along, or some might think that they, I don't like the likes of, I don't want to listen. That bloodline, I don't care how far you go in life. You cannot change who your bloodline is connected to. You can't change that. Now, if it's a toxic situation, I totally agree with you and I can understand that. But if you got siblings and y'all all been spreaded away from each other, and you get a chance to reunite with each other and learn who your blood siblings are, give them a chance, a fair chance to get to know each other. Because you came out the same womb. I don't care. You came out the same womb. Hello? If you ever need a blood transfusion or something go wrong, if it's something, element, sickness or something that's connected, which we all been blessed, you know. But I'm just saying, you tied to that bloodline. I don't care how far you go. You can't change where you came from. In order to move on and do better for yourself, you know, look back at where you came from, because you get a better understanding where you're going when you know where you came from. Don't let people fill your mind against your parents, or let people fill your mind against your siblings, or let you all still family. Give people a chance. If it was you, you would want people to give you a chance. You're all hurting. You all come from the same dysfunction. But that's neither here or there. Have an open heart to understand and make the best of what it is now. You can't go back and change what happened. You know, like I said, well, after I had my kids and got a little older, became a mother, I gave her the benefit of the doubt and I understood. Even with the pet peeves, the quirkiness, and sometimes I don't get mad at that or throw her away or talk down about her. You don't want to, I don't do dysfunction now. If it get out of hand to where it's getting dysfunctional, I don't want no parts of that. But if it's a situation where that person is trying to get themselves clean, they reaching, they trying, why not meet them halfway? I'm pretty sure every parent that done had kids, whether your parents tell it to you or not, if it was some type of addiction or something, mental illness or something going on with them where they had to give you to somebody else, don't think your parents don't struggle with the guilt of having to give you to other people. They got to live with that the rest of their life. I don't care how strong and how, they come across, they hurting inside. They shame. They very shame of not being there for you the way that they should have been. They shame. Ask God to open your heart to forgive them. Siblings, ask God to open your heart to have love for your siblings. Whatever you had to go through, you made it. It could have been worse. You made it. You made it. That's my take on that. Just love your family. Love your family. Stop, ain't no better than the other one. Everybody is all the same. You come from the same womb. Love your family. Give your parents a chance. They didn't come with a blueprint. And not one person on here that's watching this that's a parent came with a blueprint. You didn't do everything right. Forgive them, move forward, and ask God, ask the Savior to fix the situation, to give them a better understanding. And you never know, things might turn around. But don't wait, like that movie back in the day. I used to love that movie, Imitation of Life. You see the young lady running behind the hearse. Once God make a decision that it's time to bring them home, it's too late to say what you could have, should have done. It's too late for that. Do it while you still have time. And who's to say how much time you got? That's another thing too. People think they got all the time in the world to get right. Get right now. Get right now. But anyway, I love y'all and thank y'all for listening.